First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Kakadash, double honors to the elders, apostles, great millstone, preaching His word truthfully and sincerely, and shalom to the Akim, scattered the four corners of the globe, preaching His word truthfully and sincerely, and shalom to the Akim that be locked into the spectral world. I say shalom to y'all. This is a quick sit-down lesson. It's a walk and talk lesson through the spirit, power, grace, and mercy of Yahweh Yahushua. And this was recently just broke out in the news on this April the 16th, 2022, and it's from the Jerusalem Post, and it says North Korea launched two projectile missiles towards the EC Saturday. South Korean reports. It says the South Korean military says North Korea launched two projectile missiles on Saturday towards the EC. News agency reports. Salak says the North projectile flee 10 kilometers at a top altitude of 25 kilometers at a speed of Mach 4, news agency reports. So, it goes to show back in the book of Joel 3 and verse 10, let the weak say I'm strong, but North Korea been testing these nuclear weapons for a while, So it's going to continue to increase with these missile launches, because these are the times that we are living in. It's going to be more like this in the last days. And I'm going to bring it out for edification sake. This is the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 10. The scriptures and it reads, "Meet your plowshares and the swords and the pruning hooks, and let the weak say I'm strong." Right? These nations got military capability like China, Russia, and Iran, India, Pakistan, North Korea, South Korea, and all these nations got nuclear capabilities, And they're starting to show, just like South Korea, they did their nuclear launch tests as well too. That goes to show this times that we are living in the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 10. And I'm gonna read it for edification's sake for this walk and talk lesson and the news on this April the 16th, 2022 on this Saturday. It's beat your plowshares and swords and pulling hooks and the spears, and let the weak say I'm strong, right? Like I mentioned before, you got China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, South Korea, India, Pakistan, and all these countries, got nuclear capability. These other nations are not afraid of the daughter of Babylon, according to the Holy Scriptures, which is modern day Babylon, which is North America. Bring out I would say this is the book of probably bring out Revelations, because we definitely living in time of Revelations as well too. This is the book of Revelations, chapter 11, verse 14, and it reads, the second war was past, and behold, the third war coming quickly, right? Because we living in those times of third war coming quickly, just like the second war passed and the third war coming quickly, because we're living in those times. These nations are gearing up and prepared for war. Even if it was just like a nuclear test from South Korea, they did those 2 projectile missiles. Because, like I mentioned before, back in, I would say, about January 1st, 2022, once North Korea made that statement, of Kim Jong-un, he said he's going to have military might and capability and strength, And then that goes back into the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 10. These nations said, let the weak say I'm strong. And these nations are starting to show, their nuclear arsenal and their nuclear capabilities, Because these are the signs of the times that we are living in. So expect for more of these nations do their military joint exercise drills, these missile tests from these countries, like North Korea, South Korea. I believe it was like a couple of weeks ago, you had North Korea, was taking shots at South Korea, so, they was bumping heads with each other. So that lets you know, and the nation shall rise against nations, and the kingdom against kingdoms as well, too. So it's going to further increase in these last days, Just like I mentioned before, you had, South Korea with their nuclear launch test. And just like once it's South Korea, they was doing their nuclear launch test. And North Korea doing their nuclear launches well, too, It's starting to show, these nations are, they're not afraid of America no more. And, because like these nations, because these nations, even though they're going against one another, but they going against this, they're not scared. Because, America's not that big bad bully no more, we living in those times, because, North Korea and South Korea, they're doing their nuclear launch tests, in these last days, And I'm gonna bring out North Korea and South Korea, they was going against that one another, And I'm gonna bring that out as well too, since I mentioned about North Korea and South Korea bumping heads with each other, from a verbal standpoint, threatening one another. I was about, I think, like a couple of weeks ago, North Korea said, we'll use military response if it's necessary. If South Korea sends threats to North Korea, that goes into the, nation should rise against nation, I'm gonna bring it out to the Holy Scripture, so I'll watch the this is the book of Mark, chapter 13, verse 8, and it reads, for the nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be earthquakes in diverse places, and there shall be famine, pestilence, and troubles, and these are the beginning of sorrows, right? We're living in those times. We're living in those times of beginning of sorrows, these nations going against one another, You're going to see more of a high amplitude of earthquakes in diverse places, You're going to see the nation, you're going to see the continual nation shall rise against nations, kingdom against kingdoms as well too, in all these last days. The nations going against one another, notifications say. This is the book of Mark, chapter 13, verse 8, and it reads through the Holy Scripture. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be earthquakes in diverse places. There shall be famine and troubles. These are the beginning of sorrows. So yeah, these are the times that we are looking at, and these things gonna furthermore increase in these last days, It's like North Korea doing their nuclear capabilities, Just like I read in the book of Joel 3, verse 2. Like the weak saying is wrong. These nations are starting to show their military strength and capabilities, And it's gonna further continue these last days. Just like these high magnitudes of earthquakes in diverse places. You got the nation, nation should rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. Because we are living in those times, it's going to further increase. So with that, hope this was edifying through the spirit, power, grace, and mercy of the Yahweh Yahshua. And first and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. Double honors to the elders, apostles, great millstone, Christians' word, truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Hakim, scattered through the four corners of the globe. Christian word, truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Hakim, that be like unto the speckled bird. Christian's word, truthfully and sincerely. And until next time, I'll say shalom to the ball.